Hi everybody, welcome to the Sports Village Church service today online. I'm John, I'm the lead pastor, and this week we're continuing in the theme of Galatians. Martin's got a great word for us, and we will be continuing that sermon series. We are coming to the end of Galatians. The next book we're going to be looking at is the book after Galatians, Ephesians. I chose those two books because I wanted to really explain what the gospel is to people in a fairly short period of time, without, of course, racing through those books because they're incredibly precious. So Galatians will finish, and Ephesians will be next. So, yeah, keep tuning in if you want to know what it means to be saved by grace through faith in Jesus Christ. We'll hopefully explain it to you, and hopefully you'll either come to know Jesus or get to know him better. So stay tuned. Just a few words from me. First of all, if you went to those of us who went to the Keswick Convention last week, I hope you had a great time. Lovely to see some pictures on Facebook. I caught some of the evening sessions through the week. I really enjoyed them, about God's faithfulness. Their meetings, their Bible studies, their sermons are all on YouTube. I've put some on SVC On Track and on the Sports Village Church. Do have a look at them. It's well worth your time. And it was great. I really, really enjoyed it. And of course, it's fantastic. The worship songs that they sing are the same that we do. So it was great to be able to sing along to them. And I think they did one or two new ones that Simone very promptly written down, and I saw her afterwards looking them up on her phone. So well done for going. I hope you enjoyed it, and it's all on YouTube if you couldn't get there and have a sample of it. It's really good stuff. Other things from me, as I said last week, I am on my 2-week holiday. I had a nice week at home last week in the heat, and on tomorrow I'm going away for a week. So there won't be any church chat or Bible study. Church chat happens on Monday, Bible study happens on Thursday. I don't know about a life group. I can't remember what was said before I went off. So if you don't know what a life group is, it meets at 8 o'clock on a Wednesday night. And what happens is we have a time of a chat, we have a time of singing, we have a time of prayer, and a time of looking at the Bible, and we're looking at the first letter of John. So come along to that. It's on Zoom, of course, because we're still being very, very cautious, as I hope you all are too, about what's going on. Yes, restrictions have been lifted, but we are still mindful of our responsibility to one another. So, yeah, please come to that on Zoom if you can. If it's happening, keep your eye on Facebook, and Eric will let you know. It's Eric and Barry who run it, so thank you to them and their wives. It's great that we've kept that going through these quite hard however many months it is, 1.5 years now. So thank you to them. And as we now come to worship God, we come to meet with him, not just to go through the motions. So I want to ask, are you hungry and thirsty for God? You know, when we say we're hungry and thirsty for food, we really want something to eat or drink. We want it to satisfy the thirst or the hunger, because otherwise we either get ill or we get grouchy and grumpy. But when we have that food, when we have that drink, we're satisfied. And so it is with God. Do you want to meet with God? Do you want intimacy with God? Do you want to know him greater and to obey him and to love him more? If not, let's read this psalm together. If you do, let's read this psalm together. It's Psalm 63 that talks about David's thirst for God when he was in the wilderness of Judah. So he was in a desert. So he would have been thirsty. And while he was thirsty for water, he wrote this about being thirsty for God. O God, it's Psalm 63, verses 1 to 8. Psalm 63, verses 1 to 8. Let's hear God's word. O God, you are my God. Earnestly I seek you. My soul thirsts for you. My flesh faints for you, as in a dry and weary land, where there is no water. So I have looked upon you in the sanctuary, beholding your power and glory. Because your steadfast love is better than life, my lips will praise you. So I will bless you as long as I live. In your name I will lift up my hands. My soul will be satisfied as with fat and rich food, and my mouth will praise you with joyful lips. When I remember you upon my bed, and meditate on you in the watches of the night. For you have been my help, and in the shadow of your wings I will sing for joy. My soul clings to you. Your right hand upholds me. So that's the thirst God gave David to have for him. And that's how it works. God gives us those desires. And that's how David responded. He couldn't wait. He was in the wilderness and he was thirsty for a drink, but he was more thirsty for God than he was for the water to quench his bodily thirst. He wanted to be back in the sanctuary, in the temple where they worshipped, where he would have beheld the power and glory of God. He would have done that through hearing the word read and preached and through seeing the sacrifices. We don't do sacrifices, we have the word read and preached, and we have baptism and the Lord's Supper. That's how we see God's power and glory, through word and sacrament. And he could say, in the wilderness, your steadfast love is better than life. And even though he was hungry, he knew that only God could satisfy. And a beautiful verse, as I said, verse 8, my soul clings to you, your right hand upholds me. So David clung to God because God clung to him. And isn't that true of all of us? So let's worship God.